I was determined I was going to sing my song to the current Laird of the Glens, but when I got there, they hadn't been living there for donkey's years. All that were there were staff who looked after the thousands of tourists who flocked through the place. So I didn't sing my song to them. They weren't interested and they didn't have time. I mentioned that John was my cousin, John Barclay in Edinburgh, but really he was a half-nephew of my father. What does that make us? Quarter cousins? Oh, it gets a bit complicated, doesn't it? Never mind. John was from the first family, but perhaps what I better explain. I'll backtrack a little. My grandfather Barclay, John Bruce Barclay, was born in 1847 of a long line of Fifeshire weavers. Fifeshire folk were known as whistlers. My father whistled. He loved to whistle. He whistled when he was out on the bicycle all the time. And Fifeshire folk came for the kingdom of Fife. Aye, that's the region just north of the Firth of Forth, the estuary of the Forth River, and just north of Edinburgh. Well, with the Industrial Revolution, hand weaving all but disappeared, and with it, thousands of jobs as well. So, Grandfather Barclay, instead of becoming a weaver, became a farmer, and a good one. And later on in life, in his 50s, he owned his own acres called Barclay Moss Farm at Roslin, just south of Edinburgh. Now, some of you will have read the Da Vinci Code, and some of you will have been to the film. Well, towards the end of the story, the Roslin Chapel comes into it. And Roslin Chapel is quite a famous little church. It was built by the Knights Templar in the 12th century, that's 1180, I think. And it is famous for its magnificent stone carvings and for its prentice pillar. Just alongside is the Roslin Castle, or the remnants of it. It's still partially lived in by some caretakers, but it was the seat of the Sinclair or St. Clair family, Sinclair, and they were granted the barony of Roslin by William the Conqueror soon after he crossed the ditch. So it's a very old and well-established line. Now, that prentice pillar in Roslin Chapel has a fame all its own. Apparently, the master mason went off to Italy to get more stone. And while he was away, one of his apprentices carved this magnificent pillar. It's not a fancy pillar. It's quite plain in its outlines, but it just dominates the nave of the chapel. You walk in the door and it's just there, and everything else pales into insignificance. When the master mason returned, he was so incensed and so jealous, he killed the apprentice. And I guess in that way ensured his immortality. Certainly the immortality of the pillar, because it's carried on postcards and is known the world over. The Prentice Pillar in Roslin Chapel. My Barclay Moss Farm is just a stone's throw away, and that was where my father grew up, and the Roslin Cemetery is even closer, and that's where my grandparents lie. This is another song that I've always enjoyed. It was written by Sir Harry Lauder and sung by Sir Harry Lauder, and it made Top of the Pops in 1924. You'll know it.
Every road through life is a long, long road, filled with joys and sorrows too. As we journey on, how your heart will yearn for the things most dear and love 'tis so, but onward we must go. Keep right on to the end of the road, keep right on to the end. Though the way be long, let your heart be strong, keep right on round the bend. Though you're tired and weary, still journey on till you come to your happy abode, where all you love you've been dreaming of will be there at the end of the road. With a big stout heart to a long steep hill, we may get there with a smile. With a good kind thought and an end in view, we may cut short many a mile. So let courage every day be your guiding star always. Keep right on to the end of the road, keep right on to the end. Though the way be long, though the way be long, let your heart be strong, keep on round the bend, on round the bend. Though you're tired and weary, though you're tired and weary, still journey on till you come to your happy abode, where all you love, where all you love you've been dreaming of will be there at the end of the road. Good on you.
The grass may grow over Grandfather Barclay, but he didn't let it grow under his feet. He had 3 wives and 3 families. Not all at once, of course, but 12 children over 27 years. And 5 of them died in their youth, either in infancy or in their teens. 2 never married, but the old grandfather himself lived to 82. The first family, of course, were well away from home by the time Barclay Moss became the family farm. The second family had 1 son who survived, and he came home. William was his name. Great big strapping 6'4" Gordon Highlander. And he came home from 3 years in a German prisoner of war camp, far from well, and died in the 1919 flu epidemic. That left the third family, and this is where I come in. 1 daughter died in infancy. My father and his older brother survived, Bruce and Archie. Archie joined the Royal Artillery and was killed at Passchendaele in 1917. What a wicked waste of humankind war is.